I think it just general thoughts. I mean, we're starting to get some guys back healthy. We're going to be really careful here through the finish line with guys that are banged up. We need to make sure that we have a great summer. Pleased with the day. I think we'll go a light day on Thursday, set up for the Friday scrimmage. Still, I think objectives coming out of the next 2 weeks is to try to clarify the quarterback room a little bit, to continue to build depth. I think in the defensive line in particular, interior D-line, we're going to need to find some answers there as we get to the third and fourth line of players to say who can help us win. That's going to be mission critical. I like the way our secondary is shaping up. I think we have depth, and we're going to move some guys around just to get experience at different positions. But on the whole, those things are good. Offensively, I got talked about the quarterbacks, the receiver room, some of those young receiver bodies. Seeing those guys ascend here in the last 2 weeks will be important, and then continue to gel in the offensive line, and hopefully. We're banged up at running back, but hopefully we can come out with some answers, to build the down the line depth so that we can get through a fall where we're going to need to run the ball.
You mentioned the quarterback room. How are you feeling about the quarterbacks behind Diego Pavia?
Right now a little inconsistent. I think we've thrown the ball to the defense too often, and I think there's twofold there. It's one is we're playing better in the secondary, and two, we got to make good decisions with the ball. But you want whoever ends up being the number two to know that we can be consistent, we can play through the other 10 players on the field, and so that's what I'll be looking for. And there's no reason for us to try to set that depth right now. I think we use our remaining scrimmage opportunities to really evaluate the room and see what we come up with.
How much the Martell Height decision in terms of playing 2As, like when you make that final decision, is going to be like his performance as opposed to the situation around him at both wide receiver and corner?
I believe that he is elevating himself as a top-end player really in all three phases, and so we feel like when he's on the field for us, he has the ability to tip the field in our favor. And so a lot of it has to do with it's almost kind of like the wins per replacement idea. Like, where does he have the highest impact, and what does the depth look like around him? From there, I think we set the slider on how many snaps he plays on defense, how many snaps he plays on offense. We've done some research, and obviously we're not taxed with this right now, but we're going to have a really good plan to keep him engaged in meetings in both, individual in both, and obviously reps in both. But I see that conversation going week to week, based off the opponent, but also based off kind of performance within the unit he's a part of.
I mean, he would play like the whole game like Travis Hunter, right? I don't know if anyone can do that.
I don't know that that's certainly not the vision. I think we would settle on probably anywhere from 60 to 80 snaps for him, and that just depends on what we learn about his capacity as we go. Right now, obviously, it's the volume tax is minimal, just we're in spring, but I think 60 to 80 would be really good, and the split, let's say it's 80 snaps, the split of that would be based off kind of where he's most needed.
How do you think Bryce Henderson is coming along? It seems like he's he's obviously getting into team periods. Do you see him joining the first team at some point this spring?
I don't know. I would say I'm pleased with the fact that he's involved in team periods. I think, he's coming off injury and getting comfortable too. I think it's every day that we can get anything there is better than nothing, obviously. And we believe in his skills, and we believe he can be a top-end player for us. So, but those things take time, and that's really Coach K's land to farm. But we're excited to have him, and again, believe that he has the skills to be a high-level SEC player, and we just need to give him time to understand the system and to recover himself and to position himself to compete to be a starter.
You guys are like coming pretty close on like in terms of recruiting, in terms of getting some like pretty highly regarded guys, and it seems like finishing second a lot, which I mean I feel like that's improvement. But how do you take the next step and start winning those?
Well, you know, I think the next step comes with, you know, we're gonna take our shot at all the guys that we feel like fit who we are and can help us win. Finishing second anymore may just mean that you're a year away from being first, you know, and it's a hard thing to say, but it's just the truth. And what we do is we develop meaningful relationships and we build connection, and we don't always win when it comes to the surface level things. That's just part of where we are in our build of the program. So, you know, we're not going to win the facility battle, but we can win the people battle. And sometimes, you know, we don't always win the resource battle, but we can win the people battle. And sometimes decisions that tip a little more transactional in recruiting, I think when it goes well, great. We're happy for everybody to have success, but when it doesn't go well, a lot of times in that second choice, you're looking for kind of those foundational relationships that maybe you didn't value quite as much. And so it's never a bad thing to finish second, again, and we're going to keep building out our board to make sure that what we end up with is a class that we believe can help us take the next step as a program. Many of those guys will probably be a year or two away from playing, but you have a vision for the future and where this is headed, and you know, we're trying to use the momentum of a good season. You know, just in general, if you look at the guys we've added, you know, our early enrollee class, off recruiting off a 2-10 season, we've elevated the way we're evaluating and what we know about what we need. These guys are having an impact for us, and so we want to do that again, and again, just keep leveling up so the competition remains in our program.